Hi, Abby. I'm so excited that you're going to be back tomorrow. So we did read 2 chapters today, so I'm going to read the next 2 chapters, chapter 12 and 13 in our Fish in a Tree by Linda Mullally Hunt. And when you come in tomorrow, we'll start getting you caught up on some of the things that you've missed. Okay? So we left off with Allie feeling really guilty about making fun of Albert after she had chosen to sit at the table with Shay and her friends. And so she's got this like turmoil inside of her because she's feeling super guilty that she joined in and made fun of Albert when everyone else was as well. Chapter 12. What's your problem, Albert? Light from the hallway pours into my room as my mom opens the door. Hey, honey. Hey. I came in to check on you. You seemed very quiet at dinner tonight. Something going on? Mean kids at school. Oh, Allie Bug, I'm sorry you had to put up with that. What happened? Well, the kids who were mean? Yeah. I was kind of one of them. Oh, she says with a sigh. I'm surprised by that, Allie. Tell me what happened. Those girls that came into Peterson's that time, well, they asked me to have lunch with them. I sat at their table, but then they started being mean to this kid named Albert about his clothes. I look up into her eyes, and I went along with it. I feel bad about it. My mom brushes my forehead with her fingertips. You're not a little girl anymore, Allie, so it's not too soon to decide what kind of person you want to be. Of course, I know what kind of person you are, and I love you for it. She kisses me on the forehead. You made a mistake. Everyone does. Just do your best to make it right, that's all. The words I'm sorry are powerful ones. Yeah, okay. I'll make it right with him. That's my girl, she says, kissing my forehead one more time before leaving. The next morning at school, I'm wondering how I can make things right with Albert. I'm drawing a pigeon wedding in my sketchbook. I don't know that Keisha is standing behind me. You drew that? I move my arm to cover it. Why would you cover it? If I could draw like that, I'd put a commercial on TV about it. Thanks, I mumble. I don't know why I'm embarrassed, but I am. So Allie's not used to people complimenting her for something that she does well. She's used to, people noticing the things that she does wrong. So this is almost a little bit of an uncomfortable feeling for Allie. Keisha sits in her chair as I stare at her head full of thin braids, thinking it must take 3 days to do all that. So beautiful. I just love it. Not like my boring hair that just hangs there. I reach out to touch her hair. She turns toward me all of a sudden. What are you doing? Oh, sorry, there was a mosquito. Sometimes I can't believe the things that I do. It was like my arm had its own brain. Uh-huh, Keisha says. Just then, Albert walks in and he looks upset. I want to be able to tell my mom that I made things right with him, so I go over. Albert, are you okay? I ask, wondering if he'll tell me to strap myself to a rocket and light the fuse. I have a problem. I'm sorry about the cafeteria thing, I blurt out. His eyebrows rise. That didn't bother me. No need to apologize. It didn't bother you to have all of those kids at that table making fun of you? You're kidding. Why would I be kidding? Can it be that he really doesn't care what other people think of him? We just stare at each other. If that didn't bother him at all, and this new problem really does, then it must be really bad. Maybe it has to do with the bruises that he has all of the time. Can I help, I ask? No offense, but I don't really think so. Okay, I mumble. It's just a problem that I can't get out of my head. I feel like I won't be able to relax until I find the answer. Do you want to talk about it? I know sometimes when I have a problem, I talk it out with my brother or my mom. Even if I don't find an answer, I feel better anyway. Well, I wait. I've just been wondering if an insect is flying inside a moving train car. Is it traveling faster than the train itself? If the insect flies in the opposite direction that the train is moving in, is it then traveling more slowly than the train? Obviously, if the fly is on the wall, it's moving at the same speed as long as it isn't walking. But the movement within the movement is a puzzle to me. Oh. He turns to me, a little intense. You can see the problem here. He doesn't ask. He's telling me. I know he doesn't really think that I can help. Who knows if I could possibly figure out the science part of what he's talking about, but my mind starts to show me that insect in the train car. It's a dragonfly with brilliant greenish blue wings and tiny goggles over its eyes. The car is old and dark wood, with dark wood walls and dark green curtains like from Grandpa's westerns, and the people have old-fashioned clothes. Excuse me. I see them like they're with me now. Some of the men are sleeping. One is waving the dragonfly off with a newspaper, not even noticing its tiny goggles. Ladies with the most beautiful dresses sit there too. And I see a girl who is with her mother, and her mother keeps asking the girl if she's enjoying the ride, and the girl keeps saying yes, being sure to have a happy-sounding voice. I don't know everything about that girl, but I do know that she has a lot more to worry about than an insect on the train. She doesn't fit in. She's all dressed up in fancy clothes and has to pretend to be someone she's not. She wants to muck around, help build fences. She wants to ride a horse the real way, not side saddle like her mother insists. When I come back from my mind movie, Albert has already walked away, but I don't care. I can't help thinking about the girl on the train and how she feels. Like she wants to do so much, but she's held back, and it makes her feel heavy and angry, like she's dragging a concrete block around all of the time. I'd like to help her break free from that. So this makes me think this girl sounds like she's kind of like Allie. Like Allie doesn't really feel like she fits in, like she feels like she's different than everyone else, and that she also feels like she's carrying a concrete block around, like the fact that she has these kids that pick on her in Shay and Jessica. Like she feels like she doesn't really have any friends. Like she feels she can't tell anybody that she has trouble reading and writing, right? Those are some heavy concrete blocks that Allie has to drag around every day in her life. This is one of my favorite chapters. I hope you like it too. Chapter 13, Trouble with Flowers. It's the night of the holiday concert when we sing about Santa and dreidels and Kwanzaa. The best part is getting a new dress. I stand in front of a mirror looking at my dress and my first shoes with a heel on them. Excuse me. Thinking about the shopping day that I had with my mom. We even went to A.C. Peterson's for lunch. I liked how she stayed with me in a booth instead of having to go wait on other people. I love to sing, but I don't like our music teacher, Mrs. Muldoon. Max calls her Minefield Muldoon because you never can tell when she's going to blow up over something. Oliver calls her that too, but he acts it out by leaping into the air and yelling, Muldoon! As he lands on the floor and he rolls. And he doesn't just stop, though. He goes from a roll right to his feet again like a cat in a cartoon. Shay's making fun of Albert because his clothes don't fit. What's wrong with the pants, Albert, she says. Did you get that outfit in the 3rd grade? Keisha whips around fast. Why do you always try to pull people down, she asks. Because some people deserve it, that's why, Shay answers. Deserve to be pulled down, really? Keisha asks. Albert straightens his tie, which is the only part of his outfit that fits. He's even wearing his sneakers with the backs cut out. You know, he says, logically, if a person was to pull another down, it would mean that he or she is already below that person. Keisha lets out a laugh so loud that Mrs. Muldoon shoots her a look. Keisha covers her mouth and tries to squelch the sound. That is perfect, Albert. Man, you really are a smart dude. She turns to Shay. You, on the other hand, are so low you could play tennis against a curb. Shay's eyes narrow, but before she can say anything, Mrs. Muldoon appears and tells us to line up. For the spring concert last year, before I had a growth spurt, I had to stand in the front row. I liked when Travis called me a dime among pennies, but this year, I get to stand toward the back of the line with the taller kids right next to Keisha. I look over at her. I love how she stuck up for Albert. She has the guts that I didn't in the cafeteria. I wish I could be braver. We all stand waiting to file into the auditorium. Oh, Mrs. Muldoon, I love your dress, Shay says. Mrs. Muldoon lights up like a bulb. Why, thank you, Shay. Your parents have raised such a nice young lady. Oh, thank you very much, Mrs. Muldoon, Shay smiles. But when she turns away toward Jessica, she rolls her eyes, and she keeps glaring at Keisha. I decide I won't think about how mad she makes me, and I think instead of about how all the girls get to carry a bouquet of flowers. That's the good news. The bad news is that they've been donated by Jessica's father, the florist. It's really nice of him, but Jessica hasn't stopped bragging about it. Mrs. Muldoon walks down the line, handing out the most beautiful bouquets that I have ever seen, like the ones that brides carry. dark red ribbons that wind around the stems like a barbershop light pole. Ribbons dangle from the bottom, too. She hands my bunch to me, and I smile, thinking of how much my mom will love to see me with them. Keisha leans in to smell them and then runs her fingers over the tops of the flowers. And then one of the white buds falls off, bouncing off the top of her shiny black shoe. Mrs. Muldoon is there in a second. "What do you think you're doing?" Mrs. Muldoon grabs the flowers from Keisha's hands. Keisha looks up. "No, please don't. I didn't mean..." "These flowers are a gift, and if that's how you're going to treat a gift, with a complete lack of respect and gratitude, then you, Keisha Almond, will be the only girl without flowers." "But Mrs. Muldoon," Keisha says, "I really didn't..." Mrs. Muldoon holds up her hand like she's stopping traffic. "I don't want to hear it. You will have no flowers, and perhaps you will remember in the future how a lady behaves." "See," Shay says to Jessica, "people do get what they deserve." I stand behind Keisha, but I wish I could see her face. I wait for her to say something back, but Keisha doesn't say anything. Although I can't see her cry, I hear her sniff, and then I see her brush the cheek with her fingertips. And I watch a mind movie of me being the only girl without flowers, marching in to see all of the parents, and the look on my mom's face. How she'd be the only sad parent in a sea of smiling ones, and how I'd feel like I was less than everyone else. No one should ever feel like that. I feel my fingertips dig into the center of my bouquet to separate the thick stems. It takes some twisting to work half the flowers out of the fancy ribbon, but I put some muscle into it. Stems crack and leaves and petals fall, spinning in the air, landing all around my shiny new shoes. Mrs. Muldoon has turned to stare. Her mouth is open wide enough for a bird to build a nest in. I hold her gaze as I hand half of the flowers to Keisha. "Well, she can have some of mine, then." In the end, neither of us had flowers when we walked into the auditorium, but we had bigger smiles than anyone else. And I wonder if you can guess why that chapter is my favorite. One of the reasons why is because Allie and Keisha are now going to have this bond after this occurrence at the concert, because the two of them were the only ones without flowers. And I also love it because Allie is finally a little bit finding her voice. She was actually able to be brave, like she's wanted to be, and she stood up for Keisha by giving her half of her flowers, even though neither one of them carried flowers out in the end. But they felt like they had won something, because they felt like they didn't let what Mrs. Muldoon was doing and what Shay was saying get to them. They actually, Keisha was standing up for Albert, and then Allie stood up for Keisha. So then they have this feeling of that they're stronger than they were before. Especially Allie is starting to feel stronger than she was before, and better able to stand up for herself and for others. So I hope you liked that chapter as much as I did, and I'm excited to have you back in the classroom tomorrow, and I will see you soon, Abby. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and bye.